Hello there and welcome to another video from Change Tips and Tools. And yes, it's me, Phil, the Brummie that hails from Birmingham, England. And this is part 2 of our second Power BI training series, where we will continue on from the last video in which we imported an existing Excel data model for our resources. And we will now add and integrate our financial data to this. So, without further ado, let's do this. Okay, so we've now got our resource capacity planning data in this Power BI report by importing that existing data model. And as I said in that previous video, you must do that first before you start doing any type of data modeling in your report, because it will overwrite anything that exists in there. So do it first, then add your additional data to that you want to include and your modeling going forward, and you'll be fine. But before we bring any data in here, there's an option that we want to do. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to my Options and Settings and do Options. And for this current file data load here, what I'm going to do is, on that data load, I do not want to auto detect any new relationships. Now it's up to you, but you can just generally, as a global setting, you can take that off as far as the detect. I've just done it for now on this current file that I'm doing, to make sure that when I'm bringing new files in, it doesn't try to create new relationships. So I'm going to keep these two here unticked, with import relationship from data sources ticked. I'm going to click OK. So the first thing, now I've done that, the first thing, I'm going to click Save here as well. Again, remember to keep saving your file, because Power BI desktop application does not auto save. Is I'm going to bring in my budget information, which is in an Excel file. So I'm going to select Excel workbook. There's my Excel workbook, so I'll navigate to it and I'm going to select it and click Open. Now, in the previous Power BI training series, when we did budget versus actuals, we imported all the tables. But for this desktop Power BI report, we only need the portfolio budget information. So I'm going to select that and then select Transform Data. So you should be experts by now. We've done this a few times now, but we need to unpivot this information here to get our months on rows. So I'm going to select the year to the project, highlight those, have them selected, right click on them and unpivot other columns. I'm going to select the year and the attribute column that's got our months in, right click on those and select Merge Columns. My separator is going to be custom. That's going to be a hyphen or a dash, and I'm going to call this new column Date, like so, and click OK. I'm then going to select the date column, and as far as the data type, I'm going to change it from text to date. It now recognizes that as a date. I'm then going to double click on the value header to rename it. I'm going to call this budget and hit return. So that's, first of all, that's my budget information done, and I'm going to click close and apply over here. Just expand this out a little bit. So there's my portfolio budget data now here. And I'm just going to hit save again. Next, we need to bring our actuals information. So remember, all the actual files for each month are in 2 separate folders. So let's navigate to those folders. So I'm going to select on the home ribbon, get data, select more. I'm going to choose folder, select connect. I'm going to select browse, navigate to where my monthly actuals are contained. So first I'm going to select location 1, select that and click OK. and then click OK again. I'm going to choose transform data. And with the content column, which has got all the data selected, I'm going to right click on it and say remove other columns, and then select the two downward facing arrows to combine the files. And I'm going to select sheet 1 and click OK. I'm just going to select apply changes here. There we go. And there's monthly actuals location 1 now loaded. Let's bring in location 2. So get data, more, select folder, select connect, select browse, navigate to where my actuals are contained. So I'm going to select location 2, monthly actuals, location 2, and click OK, and then click OK again. And then going to select transform data. And again, with the content column selected, I'm going to right click and say remove other columns, and then combine those files and select sheet 1 and click OK. And there we go, we've got location 2. So now we need to bring all our actuals and our budget information into one table called budget data. So let's do that. So on this report view here, on the home ribbon, I'm going to select transform data, do the drop down and select transform data. And let's make some changes first of all to these. So I'm just going to hit refresh there to get rid of that warning. And I'm going to change the month end. I'm going to double click on the header, change that to date, hit return. Then going to select the location 2, double click on it, make that date, and hit return. So now we've got the same structure: program project date actuals, program project date actuals. Then here we've got program project date and then budget. So when I append them, what I expect to see is just program project date, actuals, and budget. That's how I expect it to see. So I'm going to select monthly actuals location 1 here, and I'm going to select append queries as new. I'm going to do 3 or more tables, and I've got location 1 already there. I'm then going to select location 2 and select add, and then I'm going to select the portfolio budget and select add, and then I'm going to click OK. Let's refresh that data. And as you can see now, I've now got all the data together in one table. And I'm just going to change these now to be, instead of whole number, I'm going to make them a decimal number, make the budget decimal number, like so. And I'm going to call this my, instead of pen 1, budget data, like so, and hit return. So now I've done that, I now need to create a year-to-date version of this, because in the report we need to see our year-to-date information. And the way that we're going to do that is with this, I'm going to right click on budget data here on the left. I'm going to select reference, and I'm going to call this, instead of budget data 2, I'm going to call it year to date. So YTD space budget data. So YTD short for year to date, and set return. And what I need to do is I need to group it by year and month, and then remove anything, because at the moment we've got dates in here. So I could have more than one date in January, and for this to work I need to group them together by that year and month. So what I'm going to do, select the date column here, and I'm going to do add new column, and from date and time I'm going to select year, and then select the date column again, and I'm going to do from date and time, and I'm going to select the month, so I get the month number, And I'm just going to move this to the left, move the month to the left. So I've then got program, project, the year and the month. I don't need the date column anymore. So I'm going to select that, right click on it and say remove. And I am going to group it by the program, the project, the year and the month, and then sum up the actuals and the budget information. So to do that, I'm going to select program to month, right click on it and select group by. So that's what I'm grouping by. And the new columns I'm going to create is, first it's going to be actuals, and it's going to be a sum operation, and I'm going to sum the actuals. And then going to add another aggregated column, which is going to be the budget. Again, that's going to be a sum, and I'm going to select budget, and I'm going to click OK. And then finally, within this is I just need to filter out any rows where the actuals are null, which means there's no year-to-date actuals there. So therefore, I don't want to see the budget or the actuals or that row. So I'm going to select the actuals column, do the drop down and untick null and click OK. And over here where it's added that step, if I go over to it and just click the cog, you can see now it's filtering out any rows where the actuals does not equal. So if it equals null, it's going to filter it out, and it's only going to keep those rows where it doesn't equal null. And I'm going to click OK. And with that done, I'm going to go to the home ribbon and I'm going to select close and apply from that drop down. And there we go. So you now can see we've got our year-to-date budget information, we've got our budget data all there, and the budget data's got our actuals in, and we've got our year-to-date actuals there like so. Wonderful. Now, with that done, let's do some data modeling. Let's try and combine all this together. So I'm going to go into the model view, and I'm going to add another layout for our budget versus actuals. So I'm going to click that plus sign, and I'm going to rename it budget versus actuals like so. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag these tables into this view that I want. So I want the budget data, I want the year-to-date budget data. Now I also want the calendar, because I'm going to link this up with everything else, and I also want my portfolio XFers. So remember, this has got the project program XFers in here, or cross references. So what I'm going to do here now is, let me just expand these tables out a little bit so we can see everything. So first of all, I'm going to take the project, I'm going to click on it and drag it to project in the budget data and drop it there. And it's opening up this dialog box where I'm creating a new relationship. So it's already picked up the fact that I've got the project there and I've got the project here in this column. And I'm going to make this a one-to-many relationship. So I'm going to click save. As you can see, I've got the one-to-many relationship. It's now done that. I'm going to do the same thing to the budget data as well. So I'm going to take the project and drag it to the year to date and drop that on project. And again, I got the same thing. So it's recognized those two, and I'm going to click save. And then finally, what I'm going to do here is, as far as the budget data is concerned, I am going to take the date from the calendar here, and I'm going to drop it onto the budget data here. And again, that's the relationship that I'm going to do between the two date columns. I click save. And again, I've got the one-to-many relationship. Again, if I just move these so we can see that clearly. So there we go. We've now, and again, remember to save. So I've got that file. So we've got our resource information here ready to go, and we've got our budget versus actuals data modeled as well. So we're now ready to start building our visuals. So that's where I'm going to end this video, and in the next video we're going to start to build our visuals, combining the budget and the resource information. So I look forward to seeing you in that video. So I hope you found this useful. If so, please click that like, subscribe, and smash that notifications button for future content. As always, I wish you a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Please take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video from Change Tips and Tools. Bye bye now.